Welcome back to the channel. Here's 10 tips so that you can do college to the best of your ability. Tip number 1, create the document early. I'm not saying that you need to start writing a project on the document as soon as the project is assigned, but when the teacher assigns something in class, just create the document and then file it away so that you have it. That way, if something comes to mind and you listen to a podcast that was talking about the thing that you're going to write on and you want to store it away, you have the document. Action creates motivation. So if you can create the document right away that's going to be due, in a couple months or whatever, if you can create that document, that action is going to help you build momentum towards completing that project down the future. You're building momentum so that you'll be able to finish the project much faster, and you're not going to have the same hesitancy or the same friction getting going because you already have the document started. So step number 2, treat everything like it's in person. Now, this is mostly for those of you that are taking online classes, especially these days with technology. Doing things online is a lot more common, and you're probably going to have to do some kind of a class, whether it's the summer or maybe you got to make up a class, whatever it is, you might do something online. And this can present new challenges to students. The way that you do online class as well is the same way that you do in-person class as well. You think ahead of time and you prepare for them, and you have to block off time in your calendar that class is going to get done. I've talked to people before that sign up for summer classes and then they finish the whole class in like the last week of summer and they're super stressed, and that is not the way to do it. You also don't learn nearly as much when you put things off like that and do a whole course all in 2 or 3 days. So treat it like it's in person. Block off that time in your calendar. Make sure you know the place and make sure you know the time that you're going to start and the day of the week. Treat online classes like you're in person. Step number 3, keep a log of your reading projects. If you're going to college, you're probably going to have to read a lot. And when you read, sometimes it gets frustrating because it feels like, oh man, I forgot what I read and it was too much. Well, the key is to not read for too long at a time. As you get better at reading, you can sit down for longer and longer periods of time and still retain the information. But when you first start, your brain's a muscle. You have to work that muscle to be able to focus and retain what you're learning, what you're reading for a long period of time. So what I'm saying to you is that doesn't just happen instantly. So break it down into smaller chunks. When you have a reading log, you can purposefully schedule those little chunks throughout the week. And then when you see 5 pages, 10 pages, 20 pages, when you see that number accumulating because you have a time that you've planned to work on that reading project, it's super encouraging. And that reading log is a tangible thing that shows you, okay, here's a number for what you're doing, rather than just feeling like, oh, I got to read 30 pages today. And then the quality of reading probably isn't that good because you're trying to get to that number instead of really trying to learn the information. Step number 4, read the conclusion first. Y'all, this is a life hack. The conclusion contains the information for the rest of the work. Maybe not as detailed as you need it to be, but if you find something that you want to be more detailed, go back and find it in the work. And all good writing generally follows the same set of rules. I read Stephen King's book on writing, and he says that rules are made for breaking, but it's only once you really understand the rules that you can break them in writing. But so many people, they're not going to do that because the purpose of their writing is to convey information, so they follow the set of rules. That set of rules says in the conclusion, they're going to tell you what the rest of the work or the journal was about. So go to the conclusion, read the conclusion first, especially when you're researching, trying to find if this book is going to help you with your paper. What's in the conclusion? Okay, if it is clearly not going towards what you're writing about, go on to the next thing. The table of contents is helpful too, but in my experience, the conclusion's been the most helpful. Read the conclusion first. Step number 5, start before the semester. And in parentheses, I have to say, if possible. Sometimes you're not able to get going on things before the semester, but if you have talked to somebody before, that's a tip in and of itself. Talk to people about the classes and the teachers before you take them. Do that, you'll save yourself a bunch of stress. But if you have talked to someone ahead of time and you know, here's what the class is, here's the direction that it's going, here's the major project, you can start working on those things ahead of time. Even if you don't necessarily start putting words to the paper for the major project, you can start putting resources together. You can start making a plan for at what point in the semester you're going to do that project or whatever it is. And guys, remember, when we're talking about college, we don't want the college semester to be super busy, not busy at all, and then super busy again, not busy at all. That tends to be the way a student does college. You want it just to be even keeled. So in the beginning part of the college semester, you can work on the more difficult things. If you start before the semester, you're going to be able to just even the whole thing out. Start before the semester if you're able to. Step number 6, keep your computer organized. Organize your whole life if you're able to. You should do your best to. For sure, keep your computer organized, because you're going to lose papers and you're going to have to redo stuff if you don't have some kind of an organization system on your computer. I have 3 files on my computer. It's work, personal, and school. And in school, I just have bachelor's degree, master's degree, and then the different semesters listed out, and everything goes into that system. I usually don't lose stuff. I say that, now I'm going to lose something this week. But if you have that kind of an organization system in your computer, then you're not going to lose stuff, and redoing stuff in college it's just not worth it. But you will end up falling into that habit if you don't have an organization system. So keep your computer organized. Step number 7, have an order to the way that you write your papers. This is incredibly effective, especially if you don't start writing the paper knowing exactly your thesis and how you're going to prove that thesis and the materials that you're going to use. That is the ideal, but sometimes you might find yourself writing a paper in college and you're not really sure where you're going to conclude or what you're gonna think at the end of the paper. In that case, start with the body. I've noticed that has helped me a lot. Start in the body and start putting the main pieces in there that you've researched. And after you've put the main pieces in there, you know the wording that you've used. So then after you've written that, formulate your conclusion and then go back and write your introduction. This is the way that I actually prepare sermons, and it's not my idea, somebody taught it to me. But you start with the text itself. Okay, what is the Bible saying? And then you come to your conclusion, and because you know where you're going, you're able to write a attention-getting introduction. So it's the same way with papers. I know that might offend some people that are professional paper writers out there, but that's really helped me get that paper done, learn what I needed to so I can move on to the next thing. So have an order to the way that you write your papers. Step 8, format your paper as you go. Some people wait till the end of their rough draft to start formatting. You can do this. It's not bad, but when you do the formatting as you go, it's not as intimidating. You don't have nearly as much work to do at the end whenever you're writing your final draft. Begin by formatting the paper the way that you want it formatted. You're gonna miss things, that's fine. That's why you go back and produce a final draft. It will make a huge difference in your life if you don't just wait till the end. Start formatting when you get going on the paper. Step number 9, research through audio before reading. It's not wrong to sit down with a book and know nothing about the topic and try to find what you're gonna learn about so that you can write. That's totally fine. But if you know your topic, and the way that technology is today, you can listen to podcasts on double speed and you can watch YouTube videos on double speed so that you can learn way, way, way faster. Then whenever you sit down to read the book, you kind of know what's out there on your topic. When you're writing a paper, if you research through audio first, it'll give you a frame of reference. You'll be able to learn a lot faster. Step number 10, pick your topic right away. I've seen a lot of students know that they have a big project coming up. They don't pick their topic and they spend a lot of time going, do I want to do this topic or do I want to do this topic? All the way up until they have to choose, and then they're miserable because they only have a couple more days. Then they research for one day, they waited till the last minute and they're stressed out. Then what happens is they decide, oh, is this still the topic I want to do, or do I want to switch my topic? That's a miserable way to live life. Pick your topic as soon as you can. The other advantage that happens if you pick your topic right away, there's going to be other things maybe in the class that'll come up throughout the semester. And if you know that you're going to write on this person, when the things come up later on in the facts and the history, you are getting a frame of reference, and all that class time is working towards your paper, rather than not picking your topic and going through the whole class, then missing 2 or 3 lectures that you could have been paying more attention than normal because you know, oh, I'm writing on this. You miss all that stuff, and then you may still have the information in your notes, which is great, but you're losing the ability to be working on the project even when you're sitting in the classroom because the teacher talks about that specific topic. So pick your topic early. These tips will make you much more efficient. Use them in your next class, and don't forget to start before the semester gets going.